Live on
There you go.
YouTube.
I got it. And now it says starting in 4 minutes and 46 seconds. I don't know. It's counting down.
I know.
Well, I guess we just don't talk for 5 minutes.
Oh, now it's live.
All right.
Just kidding.
We did it.
Technology.
We did it.
We all did it, everybody. Congratulations.
I'm putting it in the incomparable live stream place. If you feel like putting it anywhere else, you can. But
Well, it should already. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know.
It probably would have popped up eventually. But yeah. All right. Let me now actually. So I have a slightly different physical configuration here.
Your own personal physical configuration.
It's true. But I saw Stephen Hackett building some Legos, and he had like a top-down view instead of my earlier over-the-shoulder view. And I was like, oh, I'll try that. But let's see. Hello. Now you see more of my living room. Sorry. So last time on Tony and James and constant guest star Dan, cool Lego stream, I finished the Lion Knight's castle, and I was like, oh, what am I gonna have to build next? Maybe I'll go buy some Legos. And then someone gifted me this Lego set. This is Magisto's Magical Workshop, which I believe is like it is a limited edition set that I think this person probably bought a very expensive load of Legos, and this either came with it or was an option to buy with it. I don't think you can just buy this in stores. So I literally didn't know this existed because I don't follow Lego news closely enough, I guess. But also I'm excited that it exists because it is a rare. The castle theme is kind of like it's not an active theme right now, nor has it been for some time. But this is clearly a castle set, and it's got
I
like
appreciate
a
that it says
wizard
both.
and a guy.
It's both a édition limitée and also it has 365 pieces, which means you could build one piece every day of the year.
I'm not going to do that because that would be unsatisfying. But I am going to take the bags out of this box and see what I got. I got some big blocks of pieces. Looks like some stickers. Some bags,
Everybody loves
as
stickers.
Usual, and some instructions, which is good because I don't want to just assemble a Lego set without instructions. But
well, I mean, that's the fun of Legos, though, isn't it? Like you can, like when I was a kid, you build whatever you want.
You and your imagination. No one has time for that.
Starting out great.
We're going with it. Dan and I podcasted last night. I've been up with him now, so yeah.
Fair.
It's your meeting. You can kick people out.
Yeah,
so.
I can't. The computer's over there though, so I'm not going to do
That's
that.
right. That's too much work for Tony.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I'd have to
Sorry,
scroll over here. But yeah. So if you have not joined us before, welcome. You are joining right at the beginning, so that's exciting of a set. Instead of it took me, I think, 12 sessions to build the giant castle before. I think this might be buildable today or maybe in 2 sessions. We'll see. But this is where Tony builds Legos while talking to people who join a Zoom call that he shares with a small group of friends. It's like a podcast that's not a podcast because we don't release it except as a YouTube stream, and we certainly don't edit it, and we definitely don't plan topics ahead of time. And it's just, it's hi Dan. Hi James.
It's
hello.
It's a view into our friendship.
Yeah.
/ enmity.
And I was trying to figure. I could not figure out when we last did this because it has been a while. So I don't have information as to when we last.
Oh, you were looking for some form of continuity?
Yeah, well, I was like, mainly it was like I didn't remember how to set up any of the technology. I didn't remember when was the last time I had a nice little chat with James. Dan, no offense, but you and I have other podcast projects and live near each other, so I hear from you slightly more often.
Right. I see how it is.
Yeah, but it had been a while, in part because my January and February were challenging months. But now it's March, and nothing can stop me.
I looked over to my desk and saw that I have an Xbox controller here. And thought to myself, I'll just play Dark Forces while Tony's doing this. And I was like, would it be really chaotic if we stream Tony playing Legos and Dan doing Dark Forces? James could find something else to do. We could stream us all doing different tasks as we just hang out and chat.
Yeah. I think there was, Dan. I mean, I think that we were podcasting, but I always remember. I think it was early, I don't know, 2010s ish. You and I would play Splinter Cell for a very long time one of the co-op Splinter Cells, and we would talk. And I was like, this should just be a podcast where Tony and Dan play Splinter Cell, and it's like it'll be like 10 minutes of focused Splinter Cell, and then like 20 minutes of just rambling about whatever we're rambling at because we're not very good at Splinter Cell, and we would keep doing like the same thing over and over again in Splinter Cell. So yeah, that could be a thing.
That's
still.
not dissimilar from the podcast we already have, at which times we occasionally spend 10 minutes talking about moonlighting.
I'm still waiting to see if that's going to make it into
Oh,
the
it's
edit
gonna
or not.
Tony, let me tell you how much editing I do on that show. Very
None.
little.
Very little. Do you want to tell listeners what show you're referring to, or do you want to
That
leave
is the latest episode of A Complicated Profession, which should be out either later today or early tomorrow.
The Dan, Tony, and Kat Star Wars podcast? I guess basically mainly televised Star Wars, but we talk about a lot of really different Star Wars related topics. So
Well, we could do a stream where we just play Baldur's Gate together. This is my dream.
So confession, I own Baldur's Gate. I bought it for the PlayStation 5. I created a character, and I escaped from the place where you start at the beginning, but my partner has completely taken over and was just like, oh, I want to keep playing this at a much faster rate than you want to keep playing this. And so they were way past where I was, which is not usually how it works with video games or other media, but like, yeah. And in part, this was one of those, I think I am, my partner is someone who will be happy to spend 40 minutes in the character creation. And I'm like, no, I want to start the game, and we'll look for everything in the level. And I'm like, no, I want to get to the end, which apparently when we played, we like totally skipped like important NPCs early on. Because I was just like, we got to get to the thing, whatever the thing is. So I think I'm not a good video game RPG player. So.
Well,
Yeah,
I started the game over again just there. Having put 110 hours into it, I decided that was not enough. And I am now playing. There's a sort of dark playthrough that you can do, and I'm doing that. But
and Dan, you're playing it too.
Yes, my wife and I are playing it. And we are, I think I just looked as we were playing it right before this, and I paused so we could come do this stream.
Oh, nice.
And that was, we were at 56 hours.
That's pretty good.
Where are you, like geographically?
Currently, we've been bouncing back and forth a little bit, but we are currently in the Underdark. We have been many other places, but we came back to the Underdark. We hit the point where we could basically get to the end of Act 2, but if you do, you have to, like, you can't go back. So we're like, we got to go back and finish all the stuff we didn't finish while we were wending our way through the plot. So we've completed this will not mean nothing to Tony, but the Gauntlet of Shar. We basically got all the way to the end of that, and then we're like, okay, they want us to go to the Shadowfell. We should finish all the other stuff that we need to do here first.
I saw none of the Underdark.
There's a lot of Underdark, James.
I know. That's why I'm playing it again. But
I didn't know there was a Shadowfell in it. That's cool. I like the Shadowfell.
Oh, the Shadowfell. There's some. Oh yeah, there are some other.
I ran a 4th edition campaign set in the Shadowfell for a while.
I remember.
I like. You weren't in that, so I don't know how you remember that.
Oh, I know all games you ran.
Oh, okay.
So,
fair enough. Can't stop you.
Apparently, with the Gauntlet of Shar, you can just go up to the big door and unlock it and bypass the entire challenge.
Oh, I think they fixed that. I read a thing in a bug thing where they're like, yeah, but now you can do that. I will say this: it's an incredibly complex game, but it is one of those games that is definitely very like buggy.
Yeah, I mean that tends to go with your complex games. I remember I played several of the Fallouts, which I very much enjoyed, but they were known for being, very buggy on some of their complex intertwining paths in terms of like, if you did the wrong thing, the person might not be there to like turn in the quest or things like that.
I would say this is better than the Fallouts, but it does feel that it's kind of on the verge of falling apart, but doesn't actually fall apart. So it's quite. I really like it. It's probably one of my top games of all time.
It does feel a little weird that, it is in my house and I could be playing it, and it won like all of these games of the year award. But and usually my excuse would be like, oh, well, I don't have the system that runs on or something. But nope, it's all on me this time. So I'm just the failure as a gamer and as a person, I guess.
It might be that after so much Dungeons and Dragons, the prospect of more Dungeons and Dragons is
it's not
the draw that it might be. I do have another game which I recommend to you. I would recommend it to Dan, but he's not here. There's a game called A Little to the Left, which is on Game Pass. And it's a sort of chill puzzle game.
I like puzzle games.
And I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like mostly you're looking at a series of objects and looking for patterns in them and trying to work out what it's wanting you to do, but it doesn't give you any real pointers to that.
Cool.
And it's fun, and there's a cat in it. So
people love games with cats.
Yeah. But we played that over 2 nights. Just randomly started it, and it's one of those things where like 2 people can look at the screen and go, well, I think it's the length of the bristles on the toothbrushes or whatever, and then figure it out. So that was fun.
What have I been playing? I wanted something that I could like start and stop easily, because my screen time is a little fractured right now because of eye stuff. And I think I particularly wanted something that might be maybe more actiony. So I got I think it's for almost every platform, but I got it for PlayStation, the Tomb Raider remasters.
All right, yeah.
The classic Tomb Raider games from the 90s. So I've been playing those, which are, kind of fun in a nostalgic way. There is the thing where it's like, standards for gameplay and many other things have changed a bit. And it was like, oh, this is the kind of things we put up with back then. In terms of like, stuff that wouldn't be clued well, or stuff that, navigating maps without ever having like navigating levels without a map or a like go this way kind of marker, and not always the most polished level design or puzzle design, but yeah, I've been playing those. I had forgotten how many animals you murder. You murder a lot of animals.
I mean, to be fair, the animals want to murder you too.
But they do. They are. I mean, it is that classic. I think of it as the D&D question of like, you're in these ancient tombs that no one has been to, and yet there seems to be somehow like a breeding population of lions or something, and it's like, wow, how did they do that? I mean, that would require some careful planning to last for hundreds of years. But
yeah. Spoilers for the end of Tomb Raider. Also a T-Rex.
Yeah, not even the ending. I had forgotten. That's pretty early on. I didn't feel great about that in terms of
killing a T-Rex.
Well, I mean, I was just like, like as far as I can tell, there's only one of these. That seems like, maybe I shouldn't do this. So
yeah, Lara never really has the option to kind of just say
no. There's never a talk your way past or sneak your way past, or guns are the murder is the business of raiding tombs.
And honestly, that's one of the reasons that I like Baldur's Gate so much, is that there's lots of places where you could just kind of bluff your way in and just go, yeah, I'm here to inspect the dungeon or whatever it is, and people believe you. And then
do they literally say dungeon inspection?
No, they don't. Okay. But there are things where it is effectively you are like, oh, I'm here to see the boss, and everybody's like, yeah, sure.
It has been a little while since we played D&D, James, so I'll be interested to see how you have been affected as a D&D player after hundreds of hours of Baldur's Gate. Will you be different? Will you be better? Will you be worse?
I'm currently playing a good paladin in Baldur's Gate, and I'm like,
how come we don't get the good paladin? The good paladin is only for playing by yourself.
Well, I'm gonna see how it goes. I mean, like, also my character is secretly like a psychotic killer.
But well, that's the James I know.
But to be fair, is trying not to be, and has no memory of any of this. But But it's interesting because I'm what is it? Oath of Vengeance Paladin, which means I have to basically be good, but also
But
I
also
am
vengeance.
well also like I'm fighting off these dark urges that come across the character.
Just like James. Yep.
It's just like my characters. And like about half an hour into it, I managed to accidentally murder somebody. Like I didn't really intend to murder somebody. I was just thinking about it, and then it happened without me doing anything.
Yes.
And then I immediately broke my Paladin's Oath, and I'm like, well, I'm going to reload because that wasn't what I intended. So yeah, I'm
Just
going
so we're clear, there will never be a save game, load game feature in the in my table. So
well, it was I didn't. I thought, oh, Paladin, that sounds cool. I'll try that. And then I hadn't quite put all the pieces together that bad things might happen. So,
hello, sorry, childcare duties called.
That's what I figured.
That's we figured it was childcare duties or
the
novelist
house is on fire.
duties.
Novelist emergency novelist duties.
Quick, there's some unsigned copies of your book have been found.
Someone found a plot hole. Quick, fix it right now.
Dan, have you fixed any plot holes?
Oh no! Why would you do that? It's like editing a podcast, Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. So the one thing about this set, I mean, this lovely little Wizards workshop that I am fearing, this is a mistake on my part. I did not realize how many black Lego pieces it would have.
No.
And the black Lego pieces are basically the exact color of black that this like IKEA desk I'm working on. So just finding some.
Has no one yet gifted you some sort of like Lego construction mat? Yeah.
I mean, I probably have something like that I could be using, but no. I did not think ahead.
I like that you're using the D&D screen though, because
that is there mainly
thematic.
to keep stuff thematic, also to keep stuff falling off the back of the Legos and into the heater,
and to prevent anyone seeing which Lego set you're building.
No,
I'm just trying to figure out from the outside. He means
yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There's just a wall on that side of
the in case you need to in case you need to roll, make rolls for this Lego set.
I don't tend to use the Dungeon Master screens that much.
Well, you're usually in front of a computer, though.
Yeah,
like
the
now.
Computers. Yeah, we're in front of computers.
What is a computer if not a DM screen?
True. I mean, but even when we played in person, Dan, I found it ergonomically not always useful. I don't know. I'm not I feel like I don't need to roll behind a thing. People can see what I'm up to. Also, sometimes you can roll dice and people are like, why are you rolling dice? And I'm just like, just checking that
I get bored. I get antsy.
Yeah, just wanted some numbers. James knows what that's like.
I do. It's the constant desire to generate new numbers.
That's all I want. Numbers.
Well, how are your eyes, Tony?
My eyes are okay. So I had eye surgery in the early February, and it was relatively minor as far as eye surgeries go. They did a thing where I have a thing where my corneas are bad, and they try to make them not better. That would be great. I would love that. But this was mainly to strengthen my cornea and make it hopefully not get any worse over, my hopefully several more years in this world. But they did a thing where they literally, like remove a little bit of your cornea, and then they put some stuff in there to make it better, and then they hit it with a laser for like 30 minutes. And you listen to music while that happens.
I feel like they usually tell you not to shine lasers into your eyes.
They
know the right lasers. Is that?
Yeah, they're using the right lasers, Dan.
Okay,
and
all right.
They're like authorized. It's it's supervised
authorized lasers. Sure, this is not like a off warranty brand thing.
No. So it's not. It was not a very long thing, and you're not. They don't even. I thought like, oh, surely if they're gonna work on your eye, they're gonna like put you under. Nope, don't need to do that. But then my eyes had kind of where my eyesight was super blurry for like a week and very light sensitive. So I just sat in the dark for like a solid week and listened to some podcasts, but basically couldn't go outside because of UV light and wasn't supposed to look at TV screens or computer screens. And it turns out going outside or looking at computer screens or TV screens is like all I do. So
A
yeah.
lot. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
So my vision is almost better. It's still a little blurry in places, and this finding black Legos on a black surface I'm realizing is a bit of a challenge. But yeah, I think as far as things where they shoot lasers at your eyes, A+ would recommend.
I've been having a variety of eye problems for the last month, and
Yep, I followed on the Relay Discord. They keep not giving you things that, or sorry, giving you things that are not helpful, and not giving you
Yes.
things that are helpful.
But it was when I went in a couple of weeks back, and he was like, "Yeah, your vision's changed. You'll need new glasses. Blah blah blah. Oh, by the way, you've got like 30% cataract in your left eye and like 10% in your right eye." And I'm like, "Excuse me, what?"
Mhm.
And he's like, "Well, you'll probably need to get some surgery at some point."
Mhm.
Okay. But that was not what I was expected to hear. And then
No.
as soon as you mention cataracts on the internet, people will tell you,
They have opinions.
their grandparents had that operation and it went fine.
I told you, hey, I told you my
You're
dad
not old
had
man.
that operation.
I know, but I'm for comedic effect, I'm
Yes.
emphasizing that nobody said I did this.
I did.
It's all like my ancient relative
Mhm.
did this.
Various people collecting Social Security did. Yes.
And then one Casey List told me how they deal with cataracts, and apparently they liquidize your corneas.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's a lot about eye stuff that is totally not a big deal, and they do it all the time, and it's super safe and routine. But all of the words they use for it,
it's like we're going to use I think it's like ultrasonic waves to liquidize your corneas and then suck out the juices.
I like many of those words on their own and or about, juice.
Yes.
And together about my eyes. No thanks.
And that was not really the kind of day, week, month I really wanted. But
I will say I had been going and getting my eyes basically scanned I think every 6 months basically for several years now.
What you're saying is that if somebody needs to use a Vision Pro as they've got that information.
Yeah. But basically assessing, did I need this surgery or not? And it was the weird thing where basically, they kept evaluating whether I needed surgery or not and being like, nah, let's not do it now. And then eventually like, all right, time to do the surgery. But there was this weird disconnect of like, we're gonna like diligently monitor this thing, but also when we decided that you are gonna get it, we're gonna make a big deal about how it's not a big deal and you shouldn't be stressed about it. And I was like, I don't know if those things are totally compatible, but it was fine.
Yeah.
So cataract surgery is in. Welcome to the old man health ailment segment of our Chill Lego stream.
Good. I've got so many things I can throw in here.
What have you brought to the table?
But just to clarify, James, cataracts is in your indefinite future surgery, in your not as yet undefined, but
yeah, it's he said 5 to 15 years.
Like, let's make it 15.
Yeah,
but also it seems to be moving quite quickly. So maybe not 5.
You know what the problem is? Probably, James, climate change. Seems like it's the cause of everything else.
I think it's looking at screens. I think I should stop doing that.
I mean, you do that like a lot, James. Let's be honest.
You've now moved to having screens that like beam into your eyes from a very close distance. So that maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm heading in the wrong direction, I think. Do
you need me to take that Vision Pro off your hands for you? Because I mean, I'm available. If you
if you want to pop, well, I was going to say if you want to pop over and pick it up, you are literally popping over and picking it up.
Later. Yeah, well, later. Yeah. So that's fine. Everything's fine.
So what I did do though was my optician said, "This is now your prescription," and I said, "Great, I shall order lenses for the Vision Pro." And I ordered them, and they cost an awful lot of money, and they cost even more to ship into this country. And then he's like, maybe that wasn't the right prescription. Thank you. That's very helpful. I'll just set some more money on fire.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Just don't look directly at it when you set it on fire, because again, not great for your eyes.
But yeah. So I have been sitting with a Vision Pro helmet on that is vaguely in focus.
Great.
That's the best option.
It's fine. Like by the time that it comes down in price such that you might actually want to buy one, there might be software for it, which currently
Not so much.
less than I would like.
That's
I
fine.
want Baldur's.
Dan, your eyes are doing great, but I bet you have other things.
Yeah, you held up your hands and it looked like you're doing either arrow or some other,
Yeah, that's right.
archery based.
These are my archery based hand braces for my.
Oh, you have wrist braces because you type too much.
Oh, no, not wrist braces. They're for my thumbs.
What? Because you've been
Yes.
playing too much Baldur's Gate? Is that why?
Nope. That's because I have basically like early-ish arthritis.
Okay.
So, I'm with you.
There is
I'm
a
with you,
theme
James.
to this.
Yeah.
It's I thought I was a young person.
Wear
And
and
then-
tear. It turns
It's
out
not the years, it's the
faster
mileage.
than you think. Yeah, it's the mileage.
yeah.
That's right.
What's worse is when they start saying, well, it's perfectly normal for people of your age.
So yeah, well, this is not what happened to me. What happened to me is I went in after having the orthopedist looking at my thumbs, basically like, yeah, I haven't had like pain and stuff in them. Honestly, I think a lot of it is I'm going to blame my child. There's a lot of picking up a increasingly
I was worried
heavy
they were going to
weight.
blame all of your ultimate frisbee playing.
I feel like I don't use my thumbs that much for that, but again, it's been a long time now.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is handy for stabilization and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But what was
So
funny
they
was
blame,
when
they blame your child.
part of the issue is for me is a genetic thing too. Is I have what's called I'm gonna make sure I don't know if I'm gonna get it right or not. Not dyslexia, which is essentially my ligaments are stretchier than most people's.
That sounds like a superpower to me.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it
That
seems like it
sounds-
should be
Dan,
good, but it
sounds fantastic.
it's not great. I see what you did there. And when I went into the occupational therapist and he was working with me a little bit, he's like, it's funny. We usually see this in like postmenopausal women. Because that has more to do with like hormone changes and stuff. They like the ligaments get looser. And I was like, yep, great. And he's like, yeah, it's really unusual to see it. But it's not.
Do you mind if we write this up as a scientific paper?
That's basically my mother always has stories about because she's had a congenital heart condition, and like when she would go to her cardiologist, he'd always come trooping through with all the med students being like, "Oh, this is a great case for you. You should all see this as like a typical case." And she's like, "Oh." But yeah, so I went to did a little occupational therapy. I mean, the short answer is right now mostly fine. It'll probably get a little better as the kid gets older and I don't have to pick him up and drag him around quite as much.
I was going to say there's a tricky thing here because, I mean, I'm assuming you're going to continue to feed him and he will grow because
but at a certain point, you develop a degree of autonomy.
For you. I'm just saying it seems like it's going to get worse before it gets better because, the child is going to, gain mass. And
yeah, that's fine. He can already walk around and stuff on his own. He doesn't have to be transported everywhere.
Okay.
But,
I mean, when the child is like 15 or something, you're probably good.
Yeah, developmentally.
I get him over my shoulder. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's like temporary like stopgap things they can do, like they can give you like cortisone shots and stuff like that, which are like help a bit, but you can only do that so many times.
And they don't. Yeah, I know they're temporary.
So that's fine. I'm working on trying to stave it off as much as possible, which means sometimes when I'm doing things like this, I just try to wear my little crazy braces and hope that helps a little bit.
There's so many of these things where I like find this thing and then I talk to my parents and they go, "Oh yes, I've got that." Or
yes. And you're like, "Why didn't you live it? You could have like given me a heads up, man." Like my parents when I went to the orthopedist,
no
mom was like, "Oh, both your father and I have seen that exact doctor," and I was like,
"Yeah,
cool. Do we get a family discount? What's going on?"
There does need to be a thing, I think, where there should be like intervals, like every 5 years, where parents should just have to fill out like some paperwork. They're just like, here, let me document what you've got coming up.
Like some kind of
a lot of paperwork as it is, but
yeah,
I'm thinking like a Taskmaster sealed thing that you open up and it says, your thumbs are going to fall off, and it's like, great, that's really helpful.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yes. All the information is on the task.
Yeah.
All the conditions are on the card.
Yeah. So I spent the last few days building my own glasses which because the
I have some questions.
I don't have any. Please continue.
so every time
surely this is going to be the path to success, but let's go. Yeah, all successful stories start this way.
Like, at what stage? I want to know. Did you start with the lenses? Like, are you like learned how to become like a glass blower or something?
So
this is the classic engineer's fallacy of thinking other skills are like. I'm just saying, flash forward 3 years from now, James is a licensed optometrist, fixes his problem and then returns to coding.
Oh, that's better than the option I had, which was he's starting to like weave all his own clothes.
Well, I will tell you, I did look up optometry courses, but the only one done at the university next to me is 5 years, and I'm not prepared to put 5 years in.
James, let's be honest. Do you have 5 years left?
The classic. I think that the people who work with tech, there's the people who work with technology for like more than 10 years, and then they're just like, I just want to work on a goat farm. So James, you get to find out if you're on that.
That's the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
No, so like every time I get new glasses, I will get a cheap pair which I can stick in my jacket pocket or whatever. So I've got like all these reading glasses at various strengths. And every time I buy one of these sets, I buy them in the same frame. So I have this collection of lenses that fit these frames for a wide varying degree of strengths. And sometimes what is my reading glasses, like 2 years later, will be computer glasses because the focal distance has changed or whatever. So I sat with a hairdryer heating up plastic frames, popping lenses out.
The lenses. Yeah.
And you can see on the side of my glasses, I have some strengths printed on the side.
Oh, that's good. It's not science if you're not writing stuff down.
And I have
those were like little Lego pieces you clicked on.
And I have a wide variety of these frames with different things on them. Label makers are great. And so I've been like working out scientifically what lenses I need based on it's roughly this.
I'm worried. At any point in this process, do you use the phrase, I do my own research?
Yeah. They say a man who is his own optometrist has a fool for a. No, they don't say that because no one would do that.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not trying to get glasses made up. There's like a long delay.
I was going to say, can you at least? I mean, in the U.S., for example, it wouldn't matter because you would need an optometrist prescription, right? And so it didn't. You would not be able to go and just get these. Even if you had the right data, you would not be able to act upon it because you are not an optometrist who can fill out a thing. Is it different where you are?
No, but it's different in that there's online services where you can just type in any numbers you like and they'll send you stuff.
Really? Okay. I had no idea.
Well, but like reading glasses, you don't need a prescription for, right?
Gotcha.
Like you can just
but these are not.
That's here too.
These are prescription in that they've got various other little corrections and stuff.
Some black market glasses place where you could get these.
It's not black market.
Gray market.
I think they do come from China ultimately, but whatever.
What glasses don't probably. Do yours need to have the ruby quartz shielding because of your optic blasts, or is that not? That's an extra add-on, is what you're telling me.
There are many things you can add, but anyway, yes. So I had like a set of glasses that if I wore it, I got headaches in the left eye, and I had another set of glasses that I got headaches in the right eye. So I just combined the ones where I don't get headaches, and that seems to work.
What did you do with the parts that you have left over?
That's the super headache glasses.
Yeah, put those in a box and send them to someone you really don't like.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's been my last couple of days. All
right, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I tell you about my last couple of days, but I honestly don't remember.
Is this what childcare is?
It kind of is. It's a weekend, so we gotta take care of a small child, and at that point, you're like, "Oh man, we definitely did some stuff." What was it? I guess we went for a walk in the woods yesterday.
Did you leave your child in the woods? Did you try and make a deal with fairies
No,
or something?
He didn't want to leave at some points, and you kind of had to coax him back home with promises that he'd get like a snack or something. Which is,
I'm much the
honestly,
same myself, really.
I was gonna say, except I'm ready to leave the woods pretty much the second I step foot.
Yeah, Dan's not a woods person.
It's like, trees. You don't say. Well, I'm good. Let's go home.
Yeah, Dan prefers his trees rendered into books, and
yes, or digitally rendered, digital simulacrums of trees. I don't remember. I'll tell you what I did do last weekend, which I'm actually looking forward to doing again, which is the kind of folks over at Relay got an ad for Clockwise for Uni pizza ovens. So I got a pizza oven, and we made pizza last week with the pizza oven.
Is yours gas or electric?
It's gas. We got a propane one.
Okay. So does that mean, by definition, you use it outside the house? I don't know how anything works.
You can use it inside the house. I just wouldn't recommend it.
Okay, yeah. Probably not recommended.
You definitely should not use it inside the house. There's definitely multiple things that say don't do that. Would you use a gas grill inside your house?
No, I would not.
Good. Don't do that.
No.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I know
it's in the driveway.
I know Mike got one of the electric ones, which I think
saw that.
And I was like mildly jealous.
Yeah, I thought back, like, should I have gotten an electric one instead? Because they did give us some options, but I figured
might be kind of.
I already have an electric oven indoors. It's not like I need another electric oven indoors.
And do you know where Uni headquarters are?
It's in Scotland.
Yes, it's in Scotland. Yeah. Do I have a pizza oven? No.
Well, we'll drop by.
That is interesting. I do not think that Scotland would not have been my top guess for pizza oven.
Pizza oven
of the
for
world.
Any number of reasons. Yes.
Yeah. No,
I noticed this when I watched their little prep video, and the guy was Scottish, and I was like, "Hey, did you trick me into getting a Scottish pizza oven?"
Now they're in Edinburgh, I believe. I've talked to at least one of the founders.
I'll drop by. Tell them about my pizza oven.
Yeah, I mean,
pizza has often been a contentious meal for us to make because it is a good test for our relationship. Which usually someone ends up annoyed with somebody else in the making of the pizza because we have had a lot of pizza failures.
Well, there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of choices, right?
Well, there's also a lot of technique issues and a lot of things like
preferences about stuff
gets messed up and whose fault was it? Fingers get pointed. Pizza falls on the bottom of the oven and there's problems. Anyways. I will say I made this pizza.
You guys had a good run. And
my wife told me when we made the Uni pizza that it was the best pizza we've ever made.
Oh, wow. This is not an ad read, just so we're
clear. I was going to say, Tony, James, and Dan's Chill Lego Hangout brought to you by Uni Pizza Ovens.
I happen to have a pizza right here.
I do not get a taste of this. And when I say taste of this, I mean the pizza, but also I don't get any of this
sweet
come over,
pizza
we'll
make pizza.
Oh, okay. Pizza. Well, now I'm in. So
there you go.
James, you're not invited because you're.
Well, I mean, you can
come. It's just it's a long way to go for pizza. You could it would literally be closer for you to go to the place they make these ovens.
I have been told that if I do go to the place where they make the ovens, I will be made pizza, but I have not taken them up on this.
That seems like the least they could do.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, it's not like I'm saying that they have to send me a free pizza oven. Am I saying I would say no if they did? No. But
well, when we start our Lego building show, they can be our first sponsor.
Yeah.
But the marginal cost of pizza is what I'm saying is like it's very cheap for them to make a pizza. I presume one presumes they make a lot of pizzas.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to test those things, presumably.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
It's just to be like we built an oven. We assume it makes great pizza. Ship it.
They're just throwing pizzas on the floor all the time because they
yes. So I just get whatever beta
you get a
testing.
That was when they were briefly testing the ejector pizza where it shoots it out when it's done.
No, they're so hot. Why would they do that?
It's like a toaster on its side.
You toast it. Yeah.
Doesn't it literally toast it to like 600 degrees or something?
And then shoots it out. I mean, would you want a toaster where it keeps the bread in after it toasts it? No.
So dangerous.
So long as you can get enough rotation up on that thing as it's coming out.
That's you know what? That was the biggest challenge for this is like the thing I have to learn the most is the technique of like, you gotta rotate the pizza because the oven is so hot that like it cooks really fast. So you every like 20 seconds or so, you like put in your pizza peel and like try to like turn the thing around. And that takes some work to time and to figure out how to do without like burning yourself.
Well, I'm sure your child will be up to
He
the
is not
jobs.
allowed near the oven.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what we've done other than a whole world of eye-related stories. Oh, we've been watching. I'm not sure if it's good, but there's a Dick Turpin show on Apple
Oh, I
TV
saw that
Plus.
that just
I
came. That just
put it on
started,
my
right?
list to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It looked like it had a little bit of My Flag Means Death vibes, though obviously not by the same people. And then Noah
it's
Felding, who
It's Noel Fielding.
sometimes
It
I
seems
like.
like a very Noel Fielding.
it's basically somebody said to Noel Fielding, "Would you like to make a show?" And they made
And
this.
yeah, okay.
It has. I kind of starting out, it felt like it had a bit of sort of Blackadder, but I'm not actually sure that that's the case. But what it does have is every single person that's ever been on Taskmaster.
I had a
like,
feeling.
Oh, okay. It's a
popping
small
up.
island, James.
Yeah, but it's small. But then it's
Mhm.
like within one episode, we had Greg Davies and
Oh, Greg Davies. I don't even need to know anything else at this
Mhm.
point. I'm in.
he does actually a pretty good character, but I think the whole show hinges on how annoyed you are at Noel Fielding doing Noel Fielding things.
I don't mind Noel Fielding. I've enjoyed Noel Fielding. Like I know exactly what I'm getting, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no question in my mind. Like when you tell me it's a Noel Fielding show, it's like, yep, all right.
Yeah,
Check.
and it is that, and it's Noel Fielding playing Noel Fielding.
As Noel Fielding.
Yes. And then a variety of people just sort of in his chaotic orbit.
Since we have a lull in UK Taskmaster, I have started watching New Zealand Taskmaster, which I know lots of people who are big Taskmaster fans have different feelings about the different Taskmaster spinoffs. The New Zealand one is the only one that I've watched, but I am very much enjoying it. I think I am. I don't know if other people have feelings about other
We watched the
Taskmasters.
first couple episodes and liked it, but was not like
It grows, I will say.
Yeah,
I
was gonna
heard
say, there
people
were
say
a couple
this.
bits that I
I think
liked
the
a lot
second
better.
season on, people say, is the kind of sweet spot for the
Okay.
New Zealand one. I've watched a couple of episodes of it. It's
different, and I think I appreciate that it is different, and because I feel like that would be the what I don't need is like cheap photocopy of Taskmaster.
Yeah,
and it's not that.
I remember watching the US version of Coupling, where it was all these people delivering the same lines, and it just was not funny in any way.
They did that with The Office for like a solid season.
I think even in the coupling ones, they did eventually get away from it, but like not fast enough to just have like everybody be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is how I sometimes look at these Taskmasters or other shows that have been adapted. It's like it just feels strange, particularly if it's in English as well. But yeah, I think we've got another season of Taskmaster on the way. I think they announced who was on it.
Yeah, I think they did announce.
It's got Nate from
yes from
Ted
Ted
Lasso.
Lasso. Yes.
Oh,
Nick Mohammed, who does actually have a real name. It just took me a couple
Yeah.
of seconds to work out what it was.
Yeah, we're behind a little bit. I don't think we've finished the most recent season. I'd have to go back and look. We are very like on and off with like the other thing is limited amount of time. So therefore, when we are doing stuff, it's like whatever is kind of top of mind at the moment. And lately that has been Baldur's Gate 3. So we have like that has been taking time away from television because like
yeah,
we have like 2 hours every night between like putting the kid to bed and going and like falling into a coma. And so the options for what we're doing every night are kind of limited. But there are a couple other shows that we had been enjoying. We had been watching Death and Other Details, which is Mandy Patinkin plays a detective on a cruise ship.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that good? Do you like that?
I found it entertaining, although it is definitely getting more ridiculous the further on it goes. I feel like if they had done 6 episodes, it would have been a really tight murder mystery, kind of fun. Now it feels like maybe it's getting a little over the top, but it's still entertaining.
Did you watch Only Murders in the Building, Dan?
Yes, love Only Murders in the Building.
Does it have any synergy with that?
There are at least a couple actors, I think, who are both.
But thematically similar feels or no?
It's a little more, what's the word I want? schlocky's not quite right, but it's a little less self-referential
Okay.
and less humor and more on the mystery side. But I still enjoyed it. It's got a really fun cast. It does get a little more over the top as things go, but it's not like it so far had not jumped the shark for me quite yet. But it's got some fun, like there are some fun twists that are good that you don't see coming, and it just kind of gets more interesting. It goes, and it looks great. I do enjoy. So you got Mandy Patinkin. You've got the lead is Violet Bean, who played Jesse Quick on The Flash, like way back in like the first couple seasons.
Oh man, The Flash. That was a show I watched for a million years.
Rahul Kohli from iZombie. And
I like him.
He's in it. He's really good. And what do they got? Michael Gladys, who was in Mad Men, is in it. There's a lot of good cast in it. Jerry Burns showed up. I don't know if you guys know Jerry Burns. Tony, you will know Jerry Burns from Justified as Wynn Duffy.
Yes.
Who is one of my favorite characters on that show. And in this, he's kind of playing what it feels like. Maybe it's almost the same character at times. It's like, I like that character so much. I am totally fine with it.
We've been watching Constellation, which is strange. Another Apple TV show. It's basically, it starts out as kind of like sort of Gravity style, like some big some object hits ISS, bad things happen, the astronaut gets stuck up there and has to, work out. They have to science their way down. And it's like, this is interesting. And then it goes kind of weird psychological dread, a bit towards Event Horizon, and then seems to be trying basically Counterpart vibes.
Interesting.
Like, if you watch the trailer, it's like, did she come back to the right universe? Well, no. I mean, because everybody, like, there's a point in about 3 episodes in where she's like, didn't we used to have a red car? And he's like, no, we have always had a blue car. And I'm like,
that's weird.
And it's just
really?
Like
always like,
I mean, we've watched a couple of multiverse things, over the last 20 years. You don't need to be quite as obvious.
Also, it feels like everybody should be aware of that now. Like, if you come back like, wrong universe. Like,
yeah,
this is we've been watching a lot of Star Trek Voyager, and there's a lot of, this is a common Star Trek thing, but it seems like it happens a lot in Voyager, where somebody gets possessed by an alien.
Yes, and nobody notices.
And it's not only does nobody notice, but they clearly don't have some kind of like protocol for this.
Yeah. I think I literally made fun of this in my book at one point. Like, you know how in a movie where everybody wanders around and like doesn't notice that this person is not acting like themselves, even though they're like eating houseplants. And like,
yeah.
I mean, I would say it's worth a look. I don't know where it's going. It does the, like, at the start of each episode is kind of like a flash forward to, like, things have clearly gone very wrong, and we're finding out how we're getting there. But it's well made. It looks interesting. It's just, yes, occasional, having somebody say, why are the dishes stored in this cupboard now? And things like that. It's like, well, maybe if you'd watched a show in the last 10 years, you would know exactly why.
We also, I have been watching the season 2 of Halo, which I finally
I'm watching it
I
too.
have that on my list. I have not watched
it.
I watched
season
good. 1.
I'm liking it. Yeah, I really kind of.
How far are you in?
3 or 4 episodes. The last
was there a big?
There was last scene was the scene that ends in the church.
Right. Okay. So
where
the next episode,
badness is about to happen.
The next episode, I think they spent quite a bit of money on. I'll put it that way.
I would imagine that is the case based on everything they have set up for the last several episodes. There's a lot that I like in that show. We talked about the first season on The Incomparable, and I liked the first season. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it got better when, like, it became clear to me that more of the plot of that show was about essentially with, I've played a bunch of the games. I don't play, like, I'm not like super into it as a franchise, but like I am familiar with it as a project, as a property, and so I'm not like one of those people who's like they changed this from the books and I'm really angry. It's like no, I don't care. It's a TV show. Do whatever.
Also,
makes
some of
sense.
the early Halo games were pretty.
It's just
their
their shoot things. Come on.
story, right?
And so I'm kind of enjoying that aspect of it. But one of the things that I don't really think is a thing in the games is the whole they basically don't have emotions, the Spartans. And then they decide that they're going to remove the things that prevent them from that, at which point like that is kind of a central conceit of the show, and as such I've really enjoyed that aspect of it, of them being like, hey, maybe we were raised to be super soldiers, but maybe we'd like to think for ourselves a little bit more. I kind of find that fun because nobody wants to watch emotionless robots for like 8 hours.
And like I think for most of the first 4 or 5 episodes they don't have their super suits and are just running around. And I think like the 4th episode, there was some complaints that like, I think it's good when it's mostly like people talking and plot. And then sometimes it's very extended, particularly the next episode, which is basically, it reminded me of the end of Children of Men. And I thought it was good. Some other people in the household perhaps got a little bored, but you know,
I will say I do love some of the little details. For example, in this season, the squad, his main squad, I really liked. Vanek is one of the other guys, and like his thing, like since he's like now got his like motion chip out or whatever, he's just really likes animal documentaries. Just talks randomly about animal facts, and I'm like, I'm here for this.
I like all the Spartans, and there's other characters as well who are like
they actually do a nice job this season of bringing in some more characters who add some additional dimensions. Like, Tony, did you watch Black Lightning?
Yeah, I did. I think watch all of it.
The bad guy from that, Tobias, he shows up as a former Spartan.
Oh, good. I'm glad that guy got, because he seemed like a guy I'm not sure if I think he's a rapper, right?
Yes, I think he had been.
And I was like, this is a guy who should be getting solid character acting work.
So he plays like a former Spartan who is now like a, I guess like a personal trainer or something. Life coach. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting choice, but I like that. Also, this show does have one of my favorite actors, Bokeem Woodbine, who I've really enjoyed for many, many years in a variety of things, as a rogue Spartan in season 1 and season 2, and he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's one of those shows that I think, is this going to get the 3rd season? Like, it's going to get to the end of the 2nd season, and probably at the end of the 2nd season, Master Chief will set foot on a Halo, and then the music from the games will play.
And it's like, just go play the games now. like, because it's all basically takes place before even the first game at this point.
Yeah. And I think,
because kind of the whole thing in the games is that Master Chief is the last Spartan, right? Is that the thing in the games?
Yeah. Well, because of the stuff that is coming up, I think in the show nominally, which is Reach.
Don't get attached to all the Spartans, people, or at least
Though they've said I like that they came out and said like this is a different timeline, so just relax, nerds.
All right.
Yeah. It's like the Kelvin timeline of Halo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's worth watching until Paramount cancel it.
So yeah, solid sci-fi show, which is the thing, right? I feel like it's nice
with a budget.
Yeah, with the budget. Yeah, Foundation falls into that, for me too, which is like shows that I enjoy.
Do we know if the show does it end with season 2? I feel like I saw stuff that people were speculating it's
Paramount Plus, so roll your dice, man, because I think they're currently trying to sell.
They're trying to.
Yeah. They could accidentally sell it in a garage sale tomorrow.
Yes,
yeah,
could happen.
Oh.
All our Halo rights. Goodbye.
Bye. Yeah. Oh, it's real Hasbro energy there. So
yeah.
How is your little hut?
Well, I built about half of my little wizard's workshop. It's pretty cool. Interesting design that the I'll slide back over here. There's this, lovely little door in the front, and it splits on where the door is.
Oh no.
So that's kind of interesting. And there's even at the back of the little hut, there's like a little hearth with a chimney, and the chimney gets bifurcated by the
That is
the hinge.
that's what we call a Somerville townhouse, Tony.
Yes, yeah.
Right down the middle, hinges
Yep.
open.
You got a little treasure chest on one side. He's got his little I don't know, wizard desk over here. 2 glasses, so I guess he's expecting company. He's got his little
is there
ladder.
a knight?
I haven't. The knight is in bag 2.
Oh, okay.
So,
the knight gets a drink then.
The knight is in a different bag.
Yeah. So this is 50% of it. So I thought that was a reasonable place to pause in my building. I like the wizard figure. He is a kind of an updated version of the classic wizard figure from the 90s. Specifically, this was like a classic castle figure in the 90s, blue, yellow Lego head and white beard, and kind of blue hat. But they gave him a slightly like more like ergonomical swooping piece for his feet, versus I believe in the olden days he would either just have blue legs or have like a trapezoid for his bottom half, So
some days you like a little structure in your robe.
It's nice to have an update on a classic. And he does have kind of, I don't know, I think a somewhat comical looking wand that is a little bit more fairy princess than it is wizard, but you don't get to choose what things are imbued with magical properties, right?
Don't underestimate him too, right? Like,
so
gotta get worried about that.
But I think that's where I think I'm done building for the day. That's my my wizards workshop that I have set up. This has been a very D&D magical themed day for me. I spent my morning prepping a non-podcast D&D for Dan and other people. So, reading all about descending into Avernus. Spoiler, there's a lot of bad stuff there. So
maybe we shouldn't go, Tony. I've changed my mind.
It's too late.
Okay.
You're locked in.
Oh well.
So I don't know. Have we covered all of our important catching up business? Anything else people want to share?
I think we've done. We're all old men.
We are.
Yeah. No more ailments before next week.
Nope.
Yes, that would be nice.
No promises.
Other than that, no. I mean,
I'm gonna definitely put down something in like maybe a bright neon orange underneath my next bag of pieces for better contrast, because black on black is not working for my old eyeballs.
Yeah, it's not good for streams either.
I look forward to you opening the bag to discover it's full of bright orange pieces.
No, why?
A high vis wizard sour. The high vis whiz. But yeah,
whiz. I like that.
I think this is where we wrap things up for the afternoon. Then, thanks nerds for watching our stream, whether you watched it live or catch up another time. If you're live, feel free to drop questions or comments in the YouTube chat. We do read them. I'm reading them right now. But we will be back in other places. Dan and I are doing a weekly for the next several weeks, A Complicated Profession Star Wars podcast. There will be more Total Party Kill recordings coming soon. I've been posting weekly connections puzzles, if that is a thing people are familiar with, but you can go to my website, givetonymoney.fun, has a bunch of those. I've done over 50 now, which that's a type of puzzle that's in the New York Times. I try to make ones that are basically a little bit harder than your average puzzle. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff we've been doing. James, you want to say anything about your Apple Vision Plus stuff?
No.
No.
I mean,
screw you.
I mean, like,
well said.
Go buy Peacock on your Vision Pro if you spent $5,000 on something.
Yeah, for the narrow.
Don't be a cheapskate.
Who have a very expensive headset and are watching this stream.
Yes.
And
not
of course,
bought Peacock already.
Dan, you're currently still promoting your you don't have a new book yet, right?
I don't have
pressure.
a new book.
No pressure.
When is the new book out?
I did turn in my copy edits for that book this past week. So the next book comes out in September. I do think you can pre-order it now. I haven't really been booking it yet.
I always get mixed up what I've heard versus what I've seen versus what is public knowledge.
Now I'm good. Oh no, now I have to look.
Oh, okay. As long as you get mixed up too.
It is. It's entitled The Armageddon Protocol.
Okay, and I believe some people have seen a cover from it.
No, it's out there. You can see on my website.
I've seen it, so definitely.
All right, yeah.
It's on my website. You can check it out there, and you can find all the links to pre-order stuff, paperback, ebook.
All right, Dan Morin's website is
dmorin.com.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with more working on Legos and hanging out with nerds in the indeterminate future.
See you then.